Oh, there we go. How's it going, everybody? Welcome to the show. I am your host, Robert Slavinsky, and right over there is the skinniest of penises.
Good morning, Vietnam. Yeah, I went full autistic for that one.
Oh, wow.
Look, you said go back to the roots. I figured I just might as well hit the racial button right there.
That wasn't even racial, but
whatever.
We're
disability button.
We're getting back to our roots of our shows, our podcast that we did years ago. We're getting back to it. We kind of we got away from it. It just wasn't as much fun as it used to be. So we said, you know what? If people want to watch us, great. If not, whatever. So we're just going with it. We're going back to our old ways. But this is Bridging the Geekdoms podcast that covers pop culture, Star Wars, video games, music, television, Marvel, DC, all that jazz, everything you can think of in the pop culture realm.
And also random World War II facts.
Sure. But that's what we cover here. So make sure.
Just like the United States is undefeated in world wars.
Make sure you smash that like button, hit subscribe, because hit that notification bell too, because that's going to be the way that you know when we have a new episode coming out. We have so much content on our site, on our YouTube, so check it out. It's amazing. It's good. It's fun. And it's only going to get better from here. But with that said, last week, Colton, you weren't here, buddy. You weren't here. So tell me.
Dumb internet outage. Yeah.
Well, tell me what's new with you, buddy.
Well, since we're going back to our roots, I'm going to change my name on here to Kunta Kinte. Nice twisted tea. Nice. I ironically don't have beer today. But nothing. I just living, vibing, doing stuff, living.
Nice.
Watch Godzilla versus Kong, or Kong versus Godzilla, or Godzilla and Kong Three's Company.
So how did you like it? Like, honestly, what were your thoughts on Godzilla versus Kong?
I didn't hate it. I hated everything that didn't have to do with Kong or Godzilla or, spoiler alert, Mecha Godzilla. Literally, I was like drawn in, and then it would turn away from that, and I just started pulled out my phone, and started playing on it because I just didn't care. Yeah,
honestly, the I guess human parts of the movie were pretty just they were there.
They were just to be there.
The exciting stuff was what's going on with Kong, what's going on with Godzilla.
Yeah.
That was cool, but
fight scenes,
they were damn good.
Yeah, cinematic as fuck.
It's just the only thing that's disappointing to me on it, because Godzilla, Kong Skull Island, and Godzilla King of the Monsters, they all alluded to something else coming. More was going to come. More's coming, and with this movie, there was just it alluded to nothing. It was just like, nothing's going to come. So it's kind of like
this is what you were waiting for.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, well, I want to see more after this. Like, this made me interested to see more. So give us more. Come on, give us more.
Hashtag release the 4-hour Kong versus Godzilla. Let's go. Because they go to Hollow Earth, you got to set this whole thing up, and they rush it in like 10 minutes. It's like he only fights 2 creatures down there. Really?
I tell you what, I still think the Hollow Earth idea, putting that into the movie, was fantastic. I talked about it on my review. I'm somebody, I actually really, really like the Hollow Earth theory. I'm not sitting here saying I believe it, but I think it's a really interesting theory, and it's really cool to explore and go down the rabbit hole of what is this theory. So the fact that they kind of, put that into the movie there, but they didn't expand on it enough. I would love them to expand on that in another Kong movie. I think that would be fantastic, but who knows? We'll see what happens. I think that there was enough people that enjoyed it that are hoping to see more, that they'll make more for sure.
Yeah, that's what was it? The director, whoever's in charge of the quote unquote monster verse or kaiju verse or whatever the hell it is, said if you wanted to see more, you have to like go see that movie. Give them a reason to make another one.
I mean, that's every movie though, isn't it?
Yeah, but that like you could kind of tell like this could have been the definitive end.
Yeah, it could be.
Like, nah.
Yeah, I don't know. This week for me has been kind of I've been in quarantine, so yeah, it's been kind of just sitting at home the whole time in quarantine because stuff and things, couldn't go to work,
sneezed on you,
had to work from home and all that jazz. So that wasn't any fun, but it is what it is.
You were at work and someone yelled, "We got a 2319."
I don't know if you guys saw, but jump over on our YouTube, not now, after our show, obviously. But we have a couple of
lost my headphone
trailer reviews there. Space Jam: A New Legacy dropped a trailer, as well as Black Widow. So jump over to the channel. You can check out those trailers there. I don't know, Colton, did you get a chance to check them out?
I watched some of the Space Jam one, and I was turned off by it.
I was at first too. I watched it one time, and I was like, "This looks horrible. It looks horrible." But then I watched it again for my trailer reaction review thing, and I started to like, you know what? I kind of like the idea of what they're doing. And to me, it kind of seems like they're building a Warner Brothers multiverse and bringing it all together with Don Cheadle in charge, which I think Don Cheadle should be in charge of Warner Brothers at this point. Anything's better than what they have right now. But
I mean, valid.
I think that it could be a really cool idea and concept. I'm not too happy with some of the decisions they made with the animation, or why the hell would you leave Pepe Le Pew out? I mean, come on.
Yeah, well, he's a rapist now, so
of course, yes, he's a rapist. But that's not really a big issue with me. But there's some other things I'm not a big fan of, and one of my complaints at first was LeBron James and his lack of acting ability. But then I thought about it, and I was like, I just watched the first Space Jam like probably 2 months ago,
and Michael Jordan can't act
either. Exactly. It's so what's the you can't base the movie off that. It's just good family fun. I'm hoping it works out, and it is a lot of fun. So, but with that, we're going to jump into everything here. So, all right. Weird.
Cinematic value.
Yeah, we're pumping up the production value here, guys. That's what we're doing. But Ewan McGregor, I don't know if you heard last week that they announced the cast. I don't know if you saw that. Mm-hmm. Being that we're both huge Star Wars fans, I kind of wanted to get your opinion on everything in regard to this.
I'm interested to see. I mean, obviously Hayden Christensen's returning. Mm-hmm. Obviously, that's the big one that everybody was looking for. I wonder how much of it's going to be not necessarily flashbacks, but maybe like quote unquote Force visions or something where he's pre-suit Anakin / Vader. And how much time he's going to spend in the suit as Vader.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I got some good news for you, Colton, because next week, on our show next week, whatever day we figure out that we can do it from your work schedule,
Ewan McGregor's on the show. Boom, boom, boom.
I wish. It's going to be a Shooting the Sith episode. We're going to go back and do a Shooting the Sith episode, and we're going to discuss all that we expect and hope to see in the Obi-Wan Kenobi series. So that is next week's show. So people who are watching now, all one of you, if you're watching now, make sure you tune in next week because it's going to be all Star Wars discussion about the Obi-Wan series. I want to talk about that. But today we're going to talk about this. Over on the twits, we had Star Wars España.
I heard tits. I'm sorry.
They posted a picture. Ewan McGregor is ready to reprise his role as Jedi Master Obi-Wan Kenobi. The actor is already wearing his new look and is eager to begin filming this month. And his new look
beard is beautiful.
Nice little beard there. You see that? Nice beard. And it looks like he's got some long hair too. Look at that.
Oh, we getting the mullet back from episode 2?
That'd be amazing. That'd be amazing.
It's literally Jesus.
I love this down here in the corner. I love that GIF.
Same.
But there he is again. Maybe a better look at it there. But that's what he's going to look like. I mean, we figured he was going to have a beard and everything, but
yeah.
I mean, are you excited? It's ramping up. We're getting to that point here where, it's coming. It's coming. Ewan is looking mighty beardy, as I say here.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I wonder if we're going to I wonder if we're going to see any like surprise appearances from like, who knows, him and Darth Maul run into each other again, or I don't know. Ahsoka makes an appearance.
See, well, that's the thing. Some people are speculating that one of the cast members that has been announced will be a younger Ahsoka Tano. Obviously, not too young, but it would be post Clone Wars Ahsoka.
Yeah,
I'm all for it. I would like to see that happen, but I really don't know. I don't know what they're doing. Look, we're going to save that in-depth discussion for next week, though. So start thinking, doing your research on what is already known, and let's start to put together what we think is going to happen in this show, because I do think that this is going to be a don't miss series on Disney Plus for sure.
I definitely anything Star Wars though.
Yeah, but with that said. I haven't talked to you. I mean, it's been a while since we've really sat and talked Star Wars. So tell me, Colton, what is it that you're looking forward to most in the Star Wars realm? What is there out there that's coming? You got the Ahsoka Tano series. You got the Rogue Squadron, Boba Fett series, all that. What are you looking forward to, man?
Well, I was on Twitter. Well, not Twitter. I was on Reddit, which took me to Twitter. About... Oh, I don't know. Let me pull out my phone here real fast. This is very professional, but I took a screenshot of it.
Oh boy.
The potential. Did I take a screenshot of it? Maybe I didn't. No, I didn't. Damn it. But there was an Ahsoka leak. They're not very reputable, give or take with a grain of salt. They're good like 1 out of 3 times. But the description of the Ahsoka series is Ahsoka Tano is on the hunt for the evil Grand Admiral Thrawn in the hope it will help her locate the missing Ezra Bridger, the young Jedi that disappeared with Thrawn many years ago. That would be dope.
That is, I saw that. Somebody posted it on Twitter. I saw that. Yeah. I have no idea.
I looked into it a little bit more. I was like, everybody wants that, so I don't know. I mean, realistically, though, Boba Fett's finished filming, or at least damn close to it.
Yeah, they're pretty much through filming. They're right when Boba Fett ends, they go into Mandalorian season 3 filming.
Yeah,
Ahsoka, I believe, has already started or is about to start filming. But here's the thing: I know for a fact that Thrawn will be playing. He will be the main big bad in the Ahsoka series, which is going to be a mini series from what I've heard. It's not going to be a continued, like the Mandalorian is, you got multiple seasons. The Obi-Wan show is a one and done season thing. And so is the Ahsoka show from what I understand. So keep that in mind. But Thrawn will be in it. Everybody's asking, who's going to be cast as Thrawn? A lot of people are throwing around names like Benedict Cumberbatch and even
Robert Slavinsky.
I think one time somebody said Robert Downey Jr., but here's the deal. I've heard from a very reliable person on this that it is Lars Mikkelsen. Lars Mikkelsen did the voice of Thrawn on Rebels.
I can get behind that.
And he has the look. He has the gravitas. He has everything that you would need to bring to that character. Plus, he's the voice. He's been the voice. So it makes sense to bring him in. I know a lot of people don't like that idea, but I think he's not just a voice actor. He is an actor as well. I mean, he's been in films and TV shows in the past. So I'm looking forward to it. I just waiting for the official announcement on the cast for that, but I think it's just one step at a time.
Yeah.
At this point,
I mean, I'm kind of, I guess Boba Fett would be the most exciting thing, though. The circle background here.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to Boba Fett. It's going to be interesting to see how they push
mainly
that.
Because I was like, I don't even know if I want a Boba Fett show. And then boom, here we are getting a Boba Fett show.
Much like Solo was. But I always wonder, or not always, but I've wondered since they announced the Boba Fett show, are they going to take the story or story elements from the planned but canceled movie that they were going to make and put that into the show?
That'd be cool.
Because I know a lot of aspects of that movie made it into The Mandalorian and just played into The Mandalorian and not Boba Fett, obviously. So it'll be interesting to see what they do. I'm excited. I can't wait for it. But, another thing I kind of want to bring up, I don't know if you saw it. We may very well get what you call it?
What you say? Oh, did she love that way?
Nice. No, we might get kicked off of the sphere here, but I kind of want to watch this. I didn't share my audio like an idiot, so let's try this again.
I believe in you.
Oh man, I'm terrible at life.
Also, the weekly reminder: go see Zack Snyder's Justice League.
Do it now. Nice. So this was dropped. This is an extended and a different take of the Joker scene. I don't know if you saw it, but I'm gonna maybe play it, maybe not. Unmute site. There we go.
I talk about people who died in my arms. Because when I held Harley Quinn and she was bleeding and dying, she begged me with her last breath that when I killed you, and make no mistake, I will fucking kill you.
Nice.
But I do it slow. I'm gonna honor that promise. Maybe this will come in handy.
Honor? Really, Bruce? Honor? We live in a society where honor is a distant memory. By the way, who do you think screamed the loudest? The girl? Or the boy?
Ooh. That would have been badass.
So that's kind of what I wanted to get to here. I wanted to ask you, and I want to ask anybody who's watching right now, if you saw that extended clip, that alternate take of the Joker Batman scene from Zack Snyder's Justice League. What do you think? Do you think that it's better? Do you think that should have been in the movie as opposed to what was in the movie?
I'm pissed that it's a director's cut and it wasn't in the movie, but but I mean that would have been dope though, because that would have just been like, why? You're on the same side. You're fighting and you're still fighting each other and you're still being a dick.
See, for me, while I really do like this this alternate take of that scene, I think that it kind of does the opposite effect of what the scene in the movie actually did. Because in the movie, it's showing that they're going to have their differences. They're coming to this truce. But you are also seeing that there's a history there between them, that Bruce, he now understands how to get under Joker's skin. And he, my, what is going on here? There we go.
Something's happening.
But he's able to get under Joker's skin just as much as Joker can get under his skin. And the fact that he was able to unhinge in the original scene, scene in the movie, he talks to him and tells him about Harley Quinn, when Harley Quinn, blah, blah, blah. And he takes the card and Joker just sits there kind of stunned. And then he's like, you almost had me for a minute. And it's showing that Batman can now dish it back to Joker, just like Joker can dish it to Batman. Mm-hmm. And it just adds a dynamic to them that we've never really seen in the movies before, because it's always he's always the one that's going at Batman and getting under his skin, but Batman never does it to him. So this interaction in the movie shows that. This one here shows that Joker's unaffected by what Bruce said. Now, while that is very much a Joker-esque type of, way of handling it, it's nice to see that after 20 plus years of them fighting each other and they're at the end of the world, that they can both, they can both be affected by each other, at this point. I like that a lot better than this new scene, which I do like this new scene. I just feel that the one in the movie was the right choice. So bravo, Zack Snyder, for picking that one because it was better. But this one is also really cool. Yeah. I wouldn't have minded if they would have had this scene in the black and white version, in the Justice is Gray version, and the other one in the color. I think that would have been a smart move to do there. But it is what it is.
I will go on record for saying that I absolutely hated Jared Leto's Joker in Suicide Squad. Fucking hated it. But this one, if they would make like a serious Joker movie with him, not like the Queen, but like kind of fits the timeline where he's like Jared Leto in a Joker costume with a cult, and it shows the murder of Robin, I would totally be about it, to give that scene some context.
All right, so moving on. I want to get your thoughts, and I want to put my thoughts out there for the third episode of The Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Came out almost a week ago. Fourth episode comes out tomorrow. I know that we're kind of behind on our little reaction and reviews for this show, but it is what it is. And I want to kind of get your thoughts, because this episode I felt was, while it was a much slower pace than the first two episodes, it kind of sets in motion what I think is going to essentially be the catalyst of the final half of this series, which is, there's only 3 episodes left. So I really do like this episode, because I think it's going to, again, it opens everything up. Having, Baron Zemo kind of in there, but not as the bad guy. Well, he is, but he was helping both Bucky and Sam, which I thought was kind of a little shocking there. So that was really cool. Actually, what we're going to do here, we're going to put a pin in this real quick.
Wait.
Yeah. Okay. We have a special guest here that is going to talk to us about another area of discussion. Let's go right here. Hey,
it's the letters LC.
What's going on, Matt?
What's up, Robert? How you guys doing?
I'm good. So we were talking about Falcon and Winter Soldier, but I'm willing to switch gears here and talk about the thing that we wanted to talk about. I mean, this past week, you and I kind of got into a discussion about the whole Ray Fisher thing that was going on.
Yeah.
And I wanted to pick your brain. I wanted to really kind of, that's all I want to do. I kind of wanted to see what your thoughts were on all of this, because for me, when this article dropped from was Hollywood Reporter, is that the one that dropped? Yeah, that one here. I kind of felt that it wasn't the best timing. I kind of felt that it wasn't the best. I don't know. It didn't really do what I thought a lot of people are saying it's doing. I think that in a way, it's just added more fuel to the fire for the fans, which is fine, because as we discussed, I think the fans need to be pissed off for sure. But I think it also added fuel to the fire of those who are not Snyder fans, to those who think Ray is lying, because this article didn't drop anything new. It was just more of the same, with the exception at the end. In my opinion, the end is what's telling the most. And that's kind of where I'm trying to get to it here. Man, I can't find it. It's such a long article. I'll go past it. Well, I mean, he kind of says, like, while things didn't go as I would have liked, I hope that people now can see what this company is and who they would be working for if they went there. And to me, that was Ray saying, look, I'm done. Like, we fought the fight. I couldn't get anywhere. But at this point, I just hope people can see what I see and, go in with that knowledge if they go to work with Warner Brothers at this point. I don't think that there's reason, and I saw it all over Twitter, people fighting, and not fighting, but bringing the toxicity out. I just don't feel like that is, for what's going on in the Snyder fandom, it just was not the best time for this to drop. And I kind of want to get your thoughts on it.
I mean, you have all good thoughts there, and I think there's a lot of both sides to this story, but I think what was good about this article, and like you mentioned, it is a lot of things that have already been out there, but I think what this article does is it actually tells a story. And it's the story that wasn't told in the release of the Snyder Cut book. It's the story that wasn't told in all the media outlets. It's the story that has been ripped apart and disassimilated from article to article, from piece to piece, from writer to writer. And what this article does is it tries to put that narrative together, because a lot of people were confused and a lot of people don't believe Ray because of all the different articles that come out and all the different, not everybody's going to listen to every podcast or interview with Ray or watch every little bit of information. Sometimes people just want that direct source to give it all to them. And I thought that the Hollywood Reporter did a good job of, the writer who wrote it, she did a great job piecing this together and telling a story from that perspective. Now, from that perspective is more than just Ray's perspective. It's nice to get a little bit more information as far as, what happened with Jeremy Irons, what happened with Gal Gadot and, Patty Jenkins, what was going on with Warner Media at the time. I think one of the biggest clues and one of the biggest information from this article was that the head of communications from Warner Media basically told the studio not to say anything. And they were being driven by emotion, which, driving yourself with emotion, if anyone's ever looks at a behavioral driven formula, you see that emotions and thoughts and behaviors and, bodily sensations drive the situation forward in a negative way. And they're not looking at the full situation and who values what. And what happened here was the head of Warner Media's communication pretty much said, don't respond to Ray Fisher's tweets. We're investigating. But if you see it, Warner Brothers did respond a lot of the times in the trades. They used Variety, they used the Hollywood Reporter, they used multiple different outlets and even blog sites like The Wrap to come out and make hit pieces against Ray Fisher. And they even used Jason Momoa was a perfect example to show and try to cast light and shadow and scattershot all these information. What this article does is it shows that. It shows that this is what was going on. And to answer the second part of your statement there, which was, is this a bad time for, fans of DC and for the Snyderverse and for all this stuff? And I think this is where we kind of had differences of opinion. I don't think it was never a bad time. I think it was always a good time. I mean, right now, Chris Terrio finally came out and finally told people what was going on from his perception, from his, of what was happening and what happened with him. I mean, he went into a deep depression when, his film was ripped from him from the studio and they released the 2017 version of Justice League, that he told his lawyer to go out and remove my name from that, but the studio wouldn't because they already spent so much time to press it. And to go back and to redo all that pressing meaning, getting the DVDs ready and putting it on all the marketing and everything like that, to go back and remove his name would be too costly and they won't do it. And he doesn't, he was more of it's my name's on it. It's depressing to know that these things are happening, because it didn't just happen to Ray, it happened to everybody that was part of this film. And I've been saying it for a while that this film is more of a Pandora's box. Once you open it, you can't close it, and now everything's coming out, and it's going to come out regardless, and it's going to make people aware that if they took this from Zack, and Zack is now going to an art exhibit in Dallas, Texas, and he's showing people what he was doing, and now fans want it, more than fans want it now. It's everybody wants it. The large majority of people that watch the film now know this is what Zack was building to. This is where Zack was going. I'm on board. I want that world. Why can't we have that world? We're in a different time now. It's years later. Fans don't want the 2017 Justice League. They don't want that story. They want what Zack was doing. Yeah.
No, and you're right. I just, for me, coming from the side of things that I got into this because I wanted to see this movie, and then whenever years ago, whenever I found out about the movement, getting involved with that, it was always about the artistic integrity. And what happened when Ray Fisher finally came out and started speaking of everything, that that was just jaw dropping to me, because I knew that it was shady shit that was going on behind scenes. But this was like, holy shit, this is crazy. But as everything ramped up, you could tell that Ray Fisher kind of timed the way that he would release things to kind of coincide. So we have a high moment with the movie or with something with the Snyder Cut, and then it's kind of a low moment. There's not much discussion. All right, he really have something released then, and then there'd be a high moment with the movie, and then he'd come out and say something. That whether he did that on purpose or not, I don't know. But what it comes to for like right now, the fandom right now is fighting so hard. Like, we have to stay united. We have to show that we're not toxic, that the toxicity was just a few fans, that just a couple of assholes over there. But we have to stand united. We have to push forward because we want the rest of this Snyderverse stuff. We want this all to be restored. And then you have over on the side where you have these people who are like, look at all these toxic fans. They bullied a studio into making a movie, and look, they're trying to now bully them to do more. You have that over there, as well as Ann Sarnoff, who points out the toxicity and says, we will not stand for toxicity. And this article kind of made the fandom, which again, I agree, we need to be pissed off about this, but it caused them to go into an uproar the last few days where they're going and screaming at Warner Brothers and Warner Media and Jason Killar, who, remember, Jason is our friend. Without Jason, we wouldn't have the Snyder Cut. And to me, that worries me. That's why, like, at this moment, I felt that these few weeks here after the Snyder Cut was released, I think were very important to show how much the passion the fandom can bring and how much positivity we can bring to help push this forward. And to me, like, if this would have released in like 2 or 3 weeks from now, I wouldn't have had a problem. I just felt that because it was so close to the release and the movement and everybody all fighting to get the Snyderverse restored, I just felt it didn't work best. Because I agree, throwing it all in one article saying, look, this is everything that happened, was great. It's nice to hear and nice to see everything in one place. But the fact that it adds fuel to the fire, I'm not going to name, but the one YouTuber who just loves to freak out and call Ray Fisher a liar, it just adds fuel to somebody like that, because he's not getting what he wants. That guy wants Ray Fisher to come out with names and specific things. He's not going to do it. In respect of those people, he's not going to do it, and I respect that. But it's just adding fuel to that fire, and that's what I'm concerned about, because we know that Zack is working hard. I know over on Lightcast I think it was last week, Taylor talked about how Zack is putting together a plan to pitch to Warner into HBO Max. And it worries me that they're going to sit back and say, look, Zack, you have some great ideas, but we don't want the negative press anymore. We don't want all this negativity going on. And that's kind of something that worries me. And that I don't know. Maybe I'm off base on it, but maybe not. I don't know.
Well, I mean, you have a lot of great points. I do understand the negative toxicity. There's toxicity in any group, right? But fans that really clamored together, that really worked really hard to build a lot of this momentum for the last 3 years, is a positive group of people that get overshadowed by toxicity, because people in the media focus on the negative aspects because it's a better story, right? That better story of toxicity drowns out the positivity. So somebody like this YouTuber that we're talking about, right, who's only in it for themselves and their own clamor of clamification, right, who doesn't care about the film, right? We have to look at the bigger picture of a lot of these things. And the studios, sometimes do get these numbers and they push them for their own agendas, whoever the executive or whoever's telling him. The leading question that Ann Sarnoff got in that article was a leading question. It was a question that was set up to answer in a very generic way. Of course, nobody supports toxicity, but I think that she was given information and she was led to believe that the fandom was toxic when it's not toxic. And Zack has made that clear. I mean, 1.5 million tweets, people all showing support for something is not toxicity. It's, it's making something aware, and you drown that out. You drown out the toxicity with the Us United, and then you can finally see that this movement is not that way. I mean, the fans even paid to show support to Warner Brothers and everything they've done by saying thank you by flying a plane with a banner over their studios to show the fans that they appreciate all the hard work they do. That shouldn't be overshadowed by a couple of toxic burner accounts on Twitter that are just going out there starting controversy, and YouTubers who aren't even aware of the situation, who don't even care, just don't like to see other people happy and just seem to have their own personal agendas on things. I think overall the bad press that comes from Warner Brothers is Warner Brothers primarily. It's not really in association with what the filmmakers are doing or what the fans are asking for. That press is coming from something that came back from 2017, is now making its way public. And that press, to the fans that are seeing it, they have to understand that if you're good in communications, you got to find a way to balance that, right? And so in my perception here, when I'm looking at, if I was in the social, department of communications and I'm seeing all this negative press and I'm looking at what it's about, it's Warner Brothers, Warner Brothers this, Warner Brothers that, and fans are saying, like, I can't believe you allowed this to happen, but all this toxicity, and fans are still asking for numbers for Zack Snyder's Justice League that still have never been officially, given. There, the fans are getting restless because there's no response. They didn't support the film. They didn't even, show any type of support whatsoever by even tweeting it. Was something Warner Brothers, put themselves in that corner, and now fans are asking for clarification, like, what is going on here? They just want answers. They want somebody to tell them direct. They want a direct answer. They don't want it from us, an article or something like that. They want to see, like, we live in a visual age now. Like, go on an interview, give a public statement, let fans know what you plan to do, go to an event and tell plans. I mean, they did DC Fandom and said, they're doing a multiverse. So fans are asking, why can't Snyder have his world on HBO Max, right? That's a very rational question to ask. But I think the spin of toxicity that comes from the communications department at Warner Brothers needs to actually look at this and remedy the situation instead of adding fuel to it. They're not, by not saying or doing anything, they're adding more and more fuel to that. And fans will pay top dollar to watch a lot of these films and go out of their way to support it. I mean, they went out of their way and paid for billboards in New York. You don't think they'll do the same thing for other films and projects?
Yeah.
What I mean? They'll spend millions of dollars.
No, yeah, I mean, you're not wrong. I mean, look at what has happened over the course of the everything. I mean, from the beginning. I mean, so you're not wrong. It's just, I guess it's more it comes down to just the worry, the concern, because we feel like there's a chance, and I feel that if there's one misstep, it's done. And
I agree with that. I think that the one misstep that could possibly happen is if, somebody just toxic just blames it on the fandom, right? Like the fandom just goes rogue and everybody just starts attacking Warner Brothers, which, I don't think they will. I think fans, they love Warner Brothers, but they don't love, and I think this is the disassociation a lot of people should start having, is disassociating Warner Brothers from the executives and understanding that Warner Brothers is a brand studio name that is actually ran by a lot of artistic and creative directors and writers and actors and set designers and grips. And there's so many people that work there within these studios that the executives at the top, they don't see what goes on. A lot of the times they don't see the perception, right? They're in a studio looking at or they're in their offices looking at numbers, right? They're looking at, how do I sell this? I mean, Chris Terrio said in the article today that the title of Batman Superman was never supposed to be Batman versus Superman or Batman v Superman Dawn of Justice. They changed it for marketing reasons because they felt it would sell better. They weren't looking at the artistic integrity of the film. I mean, he even said that the Justice League film was vandalized, because it is. I put a tweet out back in 2000 and I think 16 that says that they basically took art away from the people. It's like walking and stealing the Mona Lisa and hiding it and not showing it to anybody in the world, taking Da Vinci's work and hiding it deep somewhere else. You're stealing art from the people. And, at the end of the day, there's only so many times somebody can come out and keep saying the same thing before somebody actually acts on it. And I think now is the time to act. Zack Snyder's Justice League is more than a film. It is us united. And a lot of that us united is looking at what is to be preserved as art and what is artist integrity, what is film, essentially, in the end. Film is not just something to be commercially, quantified by monetary, appreciated through the viewer. It's like, if you enjoy it, it's for you. If it's not, it's not for you. And clearly we've now commercialized film to be a commodity, of monetary value instead of something artistic and should be shared with people and expressed emotionally. And I think we need to get back to that somehow. I think we need to find our way back to what it is that draws us to film.
Yeah, you're not wrong. And that article, I have it pulled up right now with Chris Terrio, is a fantastic article. I wanted to talk about that a bit later today or on the episode, but I'm going to get into it now. And if you want to chime in, sure. But as you said, the name of the movie right there, Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice. I remember coming out of the theater after seeing it, opening night, and I go, why the hell did they call it Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice? That's literally like the first thing I said. And then for months after that, you can ask Colton, who's here with us. Yeah. I would say constantly, the movie, it suffered because of the meddling that was taking place, but the title did it a disservice. And had it been titled something else, I think it actually would have done better, because people were going in expecting this big fight spectacle between Batman and Superman, but it ended up being an 8-minute fight. And I think that was part of the problem with it. But hearing what Terrio is saying, just, bravo to our friends over at the Culture Nerd, because this is just supporting the article that they dropped about a year ago, talking about all the meddling and toxicity that went on within Warner Brothers during Snyder and Terrio's tenure there. And it's just, it's shocking to me that, it shouldn't be shocking, but it is shocking that this kind of crap goes on in Hollywood. It's, you talk about all the time artistic integrity, and you get this, you get a story from an artist, from a writer who's like, look, I went in and did my thing, and they just screw with it. They completely screwed with it, and look what happened. And then once we get what I did out there, people like it better. It's just, it baffles me I don't know why.
You just said it right there, which I think is very important, is, the artist, right, the writer, Chris Terrio, goes out there and he makes a story that shows the darker side of humanity of these characters that a lot of fans want to see. But when you cut out 30 to 40 minutes of the film, it changes the plot dramatically. So when I watched it in theaters, I was like, it was a great film, but I still don't understand why. But when you watch the Ultimate Edition, it's like, why wasn't this just put in theaters? Like, why did you have to cut out those 40 to 30 minutes was more important than the fight sequence, to be honest, because it sets up the fight sequence a lot better. But a lot of the times the studios, they take small samples, right? And they think that they speak for the majority of people. A lot of those samples are skewed with biased representations about who's into what, these. And what I liked about Zack Snyder's Justice League is that there was no viewing sample. There was no viewing party to do a sample of the film to know what they liked or didn't like. They put it out there and they got a response. And the massive response that they received was what? HBO Max servers were crashing all over the world. People were watching this film. We can talk about the skewed numbers and all the different things from third-party applications that aren't giving a full representation of the numbers and of the things that they're seeing. But I think overall, the things that have happened the day of the release and building up, whatever the numbers are, when they come out, I think they're going to show and highlight a lot of these things that fans have been clamoring to see. And I think when eventually it does come out, fans will see that, yeah, this is what I experienced. Because guess what we're talking about? Zack Snyder's Justice League. You know, we're talking about what's relevant. That was 3 weeks ago. I don't see many people talking about Godzilla Kong. I mean, it was a good movie.
Well,
I mean, Godzilla Kong.
Come on, it's 6 years later. We're still talking about Batman vs Superman. So you know, that's the thing. What Zack has created with these two movies, and Chris Terrio, we can't forget about that, and all of the actors. But what they created is something that is going to live on and be discussed for years and decades. And that is something that every studio should want to have. How many people are sitting here talking about the first Iron Man movie? How many people are sitting here talking about what happened in the first Avengers movie even? Nobody. Oh, shut up, Colton. No, nobody's talking about it yet. Warner Brothers is like, we want that model. And it's like, why? When you have a model here that, two films that are going to be talked about for years to come, it just baffles me. It does. And what do you think? Do you think, Matt, that they're hiding the success of the Snyder Cut?
No, I don't think that they're hiding the success of the Snyder Cut. There's nothing there to claim that. And I know a lot of people online, and I saw numbers from Variety that dropped numbers, and I even spoke about these numbers as well, is that these numbers are coming from third-party sites that only are biased to the algorithm that fits within their platform. So Real Good app is only showing Real Good statistics. T-Vision is only showing the metrics for engagement of HBO. It doesn't tell you which title is actually being viewed. It's only showing you the engagement of HBO Max at that time for a particular region of people in that area. It's not an overall look at the numbers. It's a glimpse, and they call it a sample, right? To me, that's just when someone says that's a sample, right? That, that's like saying, for instance, like, I just need a quick, peek at something, and this is what you get. It's not accurate. Everybody should know that that's not accurate. That the sample to something is not accurate. It's, getting a sample at Costco doesn't mean that you're going to like what you eat. It's just, oh, it was good. Let me try the rest of it. That's kind of like what we're dealing with here. That a lot of these numbers are getting a representation on what they want to see, only with a visual small glimpse. And they're taking it and they're hyperbolically blowing it up to show it that it's bigger than what it is. And I made a good example. I gave a good example to somebody. Look, if I do a sample of something of all the coffee lovers in the world, I'm not going to go to Starbucks and do my sample. That's pretty much what the numbers are doing, right? They're only going and showing you what they think is relevant. And we can't take that as absolute because they're not. So I think HBO Max is holding numbers until they reach a conclusion with what they're going to do with Snyder's world. They don't have an essential plan of how they want to release it. I mean, we saw Joe Manganiello go out there and, get close to how many tweets the other day just about Deathstroke on HBO Max, and look how fast that trended. Like, that was trending that day, and Zack Snyder's Justice League for Restore the Snyderverse is trending 1.5 million plus, and Batfleck was trending. So it's like
all Russian bots, though.
Yeah, they're all Russian bots doing the same thing, right? I still don't understand that logic, but it's people call this Restore the Snyderverse people, they're trying to call them conspiracy theorists that HBO is trying to hold numbers. That's not the case. And I don't think people should go out there and do that, because there's no conspiracy to hold the numbers back. There's a reason, but they just haven't released the reason to the fans and to people yet, because they don't have an answer. They need to have an answer before they can, show it. They want to know what it is that they're looking at.
Yeah, no, it makes complete sense. And while the title of my episode was that question, are they hiding the success? I didn't believe they were. I just feel that they're truly I don't think they know what they're doing at this point in time and understanding on how to rate its success because of it's not just HBO Max. You know, it was a global international event, and while Godzilla vs. Kong, they kind of knew what to expect. They kind of understood, okay, this is what we got to look for when this movie drops. But with Zack Snyder's Justice League, it's something completely different, something that's unprecedented, that's never been done before, and they need to understand and fully grasp on what to show. The only thing that really just disappoints me, and I think fans would tone down a bit in this regard with questioning, hey, where are the numbers? Is if Warner Brothers or somebody from the company will come out and say, hey, we don't have everything yet, but by all accounts, it looks like it was a pretty successful event. But then they risk, okay, if it's successful, then restore the Snyderverse. So it's kind of a good and bad, but I really think they need to come out and say something just so it encourages fans. Like, look, we're looking into it. We're looking to see what this did for us. But by all accounts, what has been accomplished was successful.
Yeah, and I agree with you. I'm a person that can't just take numbers and be like, you show me a graph and a cool plot design or a pie chart or like a bar chart, whatever it is, and say that that's data. I'm like, no, that's a visual representation of data, but I want to see the numbers. I want to see the data. I want to see how you're coming to that conclusion, and every graph that has came out, they don't show you that because they can't. Because if they were to give you that, then they would have to, basically back what they're saying with information and sources. So they outsource the third party, right? Because a lot of these websites and a lot of these trades are trying to get that, right? They want to be the first one to the scene. They want to be the first one to show you the numbers. They want to, like VIP, right? I don't even know what I think it's Variety something. I forgot what VIP stands for their website, but they're trying to show you I think it's like intellectual properties or something, I don't know, but it's these third-party sites and these articles are trying to get these third-party analytics crews to get numbers so that they can show people. I don't think they're doing it intentionally, but they're just getting numbers and putting them out there because they need clicks. They need people to go, this is a hot topic. Let's get the numbers on. An editor's back there saying, hey, let's get someone on the numbers. I know a guy that works at an analytics place. They can get us numbers on who is trending HBO Max or what they were looking at. We could throw those up. All right, let's do it. Let's make an article. Like, that's kind of how it goes for a lot of these people. But until we get numbers directly from Warner Brothers or HBO Max or Warner Media, whoever's going to do it first, I think people need to understand and look at the information and look at the source, because a lot of people just look at the headline. Oh, there it is. They look at the visual pie chart and they say this is real. And it's like, no, you have to do your information. You have to do your due diligence. You have to read it. You have to analyze and look at the information yourself. You can't just say that just because it's a pie chart, that's data. That's not data. That's a visual representation of the data.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, thanks, man. I kind of want to jump over and finish our show with everything else. Thanks for coming on and talking with us.
Yeah, no worries.
Real quick, I just saw popped up, it was about 45 minutes ago, but Lightcast announced today Republic Outpost Radio. That looks pretty cool. pretty pumped about that. So,
yeah, man. We're happy about that one.
Yeah, are you going to be involved with that? Like in any? I know as a producer, most likely, but any other capacity? It's going to be a Star Wars, everything Star Wars and mythology of Star Wars, hosted by Sean. Tonight. Oh man, look at that.
Yeah. Yeah, it's dropping tonight, and what we plan to do with that, Sean's doing a great job. We're producing the show, and we're running a lot of our sources through the show. So we're going to be bringing guests on that show. A lot of people that worked on Star Wars productions. We're working at bringing even some actors that worked on a lot of Star Wars productions and even behind the scenes and special effects and things like that to give more of an insight into the world of Star Wars. But, as far as the capacity of the show, I mean, it's endless. There's so much Star Wars content out there, and I'm a Star Wars fan, and we're even going to bring on people such as yourself, Robert, and I know other people from other shows that have a lot of insight too from Star Wars, and just share what we know about Star Wars and what we love about it.
Yeah, well, I'm looking forward to it. I hope everybody gets a chance to check that out. It actually is dropping 7 p.m. Pacific time, so in about 3 hours from now, it looks like. So make sure everybody checks it out. But again, Matt, thanks for jumping on and discussing that with me. I hope people that do watch the show kind of get a better understanding of everything going on, because I know it definitely helped me understand some things. So
yeah, it was a pleasure. Colton, Robert, thank you for the invite, man. I really appreciate it.
No problem. I will talk at you at some other point in time.
Yeah.
I said hi and I said bye. That's all.
much love, guys. All right.
Take it easy.
Bye.
All right. Well, there it was. That was pretty cool. Yeah. But let's go.
Hey, I'm back and I exist.
Let's get back into it. I want to get back to this here. The Falcon and the Winter Soldier. So we were talking about the Falcon and the Winter Soldier, how this episode, I think, really sets the catalyst to move forward for the final half of the season. But what were your thoughts on this episode? Because again, having Baron Zemo come in, having Agent Carter, Sharon Carter is her name, I believe, pop up, and then she had there's a little bit of mystery at the end. A lot of people are saying, hey, is she the power broker? Is she the one that's kind of running all of this? What's going on? So what are your thoughts on this episode?
I still don't give a shit about the Falcon in this series, at all. At all. He's just a dick, really, at the end of the day. I'm more interested, obviously, we saw, I can't remember his name, the black guy, that older black guy.
Isaiah.
Yeah, who was a super soldier at some point in time, or still currently is, or
I mean, he's still obviously has the abilities, but I mean, he's an older man. I loved that episode. That was between
was that season 2?
That was episode 2.
Oh, I thought it was episode 3. My bad.
But between WandaVision and Falcon and the Winter Soldier, that episode was my favorite episode out of any Marvel TV show. I just thought it was a fantastic episode. But this one here, I mean, I get what you're saying. Sam is kind of just an asshole. There's nothing likable about him.
Yeah, but he's just the token black guy for the series. That's all he is.
He did have some pretty interesting moments, Marvel moments. Funny Marvel moments in this episode, which I kind of enjoyed. So I get it. I think he's starting to grow on me a little bit, especially after that second episode. I still don't think that he's strong enough to lead a series, and it does help that he has the guy playing Bucky with him. He's a good lead actor. I think he could really lead this show. But again, this episode wasn't so much a focus on those two as it was what is happening in the background.
The bigger picture of everything. It just, when they're in the shootout in the junkyard or storage yard or, wherever towards the end of the episode or halfway through the episode or whatever, and they're like, I'm out, and then they start bickering. I'm like, stop it.
Oh yeah. The bickering just said that seemed a little out of place at that
I was
moment.
like, you're making the Winter Soldier or Bucky or whatever he goes by now so badass, and then you drop him down to do that.
Yeah.
And then you make him serious again. It makes no sense for any character at all.
Yeah, I agree. Some of that stuff was kind of ridiculous, but
he has PTSD and is clearly dealing with grief and all this other shit, and then you're gonna make him like a child.
Yeah.
It makes no sense to me.
No, I thought the action in that scene was pretty cool. I liked it. I did like the intensity of it. It felt like it was a very tense moment, which I like. That was my hope for this, because I guess to me, I think why I liked Captain America: The Winter Soldier so much is it was because of it being a spy thriller. It was so much like an action movie that it kind of reminded me of those 80s, 90s action films that were just about, buddy cop movies, that kind of stuff. That's what it reminded me of. And that's what Matrix. Not really even a first Matrix, but more like Lethal Weapon or Die Hard or stuff like that. That's what I was hoping to get out of this show. And I've gotten it a little bit, obviously get that with the Marvel twist. I've gotten that a little bit here and there. And I think that final moment in the junkyard or the storage yard, that kind of gave me that. I was feeling in that moment, I was feeling Lethal Weapon. I was like, it's Riggs and Murtaugh, it's going back and forth. And I kind of like that. So, when it comes down to it, I think this episode was a good episode. It sets up everything. I know a lot of people are still complaining. We don't know who the big bad is yet, but it doesn't matter. And unlike what WandaVision was, where you were constantly asking questions, who's this, who's this, who's this? This show isn't doing that. I'm just here for the ride. I don't care who these people are. I don't care if the power broker is Mephisto. I don't care if, Baron Zemo turns out to be the bad guy. I'm interested in the story at this point. I just want to see where this is going. Whereas WandaVision, the story wasn't intriguing enough to be like, oh, I'm interested in the story. Everybody was for
WandaVision wasn't interesting until episode 4.
Exactly. And all everybody was interested in is, oh, who's going to be the scientist? Who is Quicksilver? Who's this? Who's that? That's all anybody was interested in. That's why this episode here and this series I've far more enjoyed than WandaVision.
Yeah.
So, yeah, but let us know your thoughts, guys, on Falcon and the Winter Soldier episode 3. Throw them down in the comments, all that jazz for sure. I'm going to start wrapping this up. There's a couple other things I wanted to touch on real quick. This one here, Deadpool animated show in the works. I'm really, really pumped about this because it's Deadpool, but there was originally a cartoon that was going to be made with Donald Glover, and it got canceled a few years back. This one seems to be in the works with Ryan Reynolds back, in voicing Deadpool. So I'm really excited to see if this pans out, if this is true, if it happens. But I think they're going to try and find a way to continue the Deadpool outside of the films because of his raunchiness and everything. They're not going to be able to really insert him into many Marvel movies throughout. So they're going to want to, how can we get more of him? Out there. And this is a good way, I think. I think it's a pretty good way to go. One other thing I want to touch on, because I promised in my tweet I'd talk about it, is some Spider-Man. And a lot of people are curious, like, what's going on with Spider-Man? What's going on here? What's going on there? Did I get it? There it is. So this is a really, really, really interesting article that came out. Netflix and Sony break ground with film licensing deal replacing Stars Pact, including first look at new direct-to-streaming titles. So a lot of people saw this. Now remember, Sony owns the rights to Spider-Man for film. And they had to make a deal. Disney or Marvel Studios and Sony had to make a deal to have Tom Holland Spider-Man in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And it's worked out great. Whether you like Spider-Man, this version of Spider-Man or not, it has worked out great because he's making money. He's getting people excited for these movies. But people seem to think that this new deal with Netflix is kind of going to just shut the door on anything after No Way Home. And people are yet to still see or understand what is actually going on here with Spider-Man. Keep in mind that this is not just Spider-Man. This is not just Tom Holland Spider-Man that we're going to be looking at. There's reason why rumors for Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield are out there right now. There's a reason why Sony has been building up Miles Morales for the last 3 or 4 years now, because they're planning on spinning off and doing their own Spider-Man movies over in Sony, while Disney and Marvel Studios can continue on forward with their Tom Holland Spider-Man. That is going to happen. I don't have official confirmation of this. Obviously, we've not had any official confirmation of it, but I have talked to people in the past. I've heard that is something that they want to do. People are smart enough nowadays to understand, all right, you got this Spider-Man, you got this Spider-Man, you got this Spider-Man. People are smart enough. So it's a little bit of information. I'm hearing it. It's going to happen. I've been talking about it for months. I want people to understand we're going to have so much Spider-Man in the near future. It's going to be awesome.
That we're going to be shooting webs everywhere.
And if you don't like the Tom Holland Spider-Man, you're going to have another one to choose from. Whether it's Andrew Garfield continuing on, heck, there's rumor right now. Geekosity has a rumor right now that's saying that Sony's considering doing Spider-Man 4 with Tobey Maguire and Sam Raimi.
Let's do it.
So who knows what's going to happen? But
throw all the villains at us. Every Spider-Man villain in one movie. By
2025, there will be 2 Spider-Man series going on simultaneously, one in Marvel and one over in Sony. I guarantee it. So you heard it here. Maybe first, maybe not first. I don't know, but I'm saying it's first. You heard it here first, guys.
You heard it here first. First.
But that's it, guys. I gotta end the show here. It was great. Again, thank you to Matt from Lightcast for joining and discussing that topic, because it is a hot topic right now, and I wanted to get it out there. And it's great to have someone like Matt come on and kind of talk through it, and make sure we all understand what's going on, because even I have my concerns with what's going on with Warner Brothers and DC. So it was great to have him on. You over there, Colton, thanks for being on today.
What's good? What's good?
But pay attention, because our show time might be a little different next week. So make sure you follow us on the twits at Bridge Geekdoms or at White Ruby 53. Make sure, again, you smash that like button and subscribe. Hit that notification bell and all that jazz, so you get notified every time a new episode or video drops. But I think that's it, guys. I think with all that said, I think I'm going to say I'll see you later.
Bye. I love you.